Welcome back to another painting session. I am here to have another tutorial lesson for you all. This one is going to be about multi-layering, in which I'm going to have blue, the bottom layer, green, the middle, and white and a little bit of gray on the very top. This is going to converge all together, combine these three layers into what would surely look like a Earth-like planet. Well, I'm hoping it will look like that if it all goes well. Now I will have to wait for the blue, the green, and the clouds up top just a tiny bit, and then after I'm done making all of that, I'll wait even further to put, the stencil on it. That is what this thing is. And then I'll make the space around it. So I'm going to get started on that first. If you have any questions about the spray paints, how to apply it, what type of colors you should use, look at my other tutorials videos that I will pin right now. There's about 2 of them that should be of interest. I have a few more, but those 2 should be of your interest at that moment if you're interested about how you use these cans, and later on how to make the texturing with the newspaper or any other material you're using to make a texture of the can. So I'll preface this first. There's going to be the light source coming from here. It'll be off screen, so the shading will be on this side and the tinting will be on here. So I'm going to have the deeper colors on this side. I'm going to lay it on fairly lightly. I don't want too much. If I lay it down lightly, it's going to dry faster. Once I have that down, I'm going to have the top tint for the ocean. That is going to be, you can't really see it, but it's called Spa Blue. Now I tried to use a gloss spray paint to the best of my ability. That is because it has a good application when you put all these paints together, and it looks much glossier and it's better to deal with. It also is a better, smoother spray out of a can. If you have satin or, it usually is satin or flat texture paint, then it's going to disperse out much more. It's going to be a bit more grainier than gloss paint. So that's why I use it. I'm going to wait a little bit, as this side is a bit wet. This side is fine. I'm going to wait for here for a little bit. I don't want to smudge in between the blue and the greens. I don't want it to look like a swampland. I want it to look like continents. And while I'm waiting, I am going to get a piece of newspaper that I will use for the texturing. Now, I want a bit bigger than that. Give me a moment. Okay, I think I found it. I just have to take it apart. Yep, this should be fine. Now what I'm going to do with this is I'm just going to topple it randomly. This is usually not what I do, but for this one I will make an exception. If you're curious about how to use this, how to use a newspaper, like I said before, I will pin a video right now of how I'll teach you how to use this properly and how to get a good texturing from your newspaper. But to save time and energy, I will not be going over exactly everything. I'll be going over a little bit, but not everything, of course. That's why there's different videos. Now, if you could have seen, I first crumpled it all the way randomly, and then I put it into a linear fashion like this, put it hot dog style, and then I folded it like that. So it should look something like this. Now, it doesn't really matter what type of newspaper you use. Now, I prefer a drier newspaper as it has more nuanced textures from it, but you could also use cling film, trash cans, plastic bags, gloss newspaper from magazines or whatnot. All of those should be perfectly fine for you to use this. Now I'm going to have my green here. Okay. Just gotta shake these up. Give me a second. Alright. Now I'm going to have a top tint of this. There we go. Now that I have this, I'm going to have a tiny bit of gloss on this. And I am going to lay this down and swipe it like this. A good amount of pressure on there. Not too much, not too little. And take away. Just adding a bit more texture when needed. That should be fine. Yep, that's good. That looks about right. Now I'm going to wait a little bit so I can apply the clouds on this. Now the clouds are going to be a bit tricky because I do not want them to mix a lot with the blue and the greens, as you would imagine. Right now it's good enough just to be a planet on its own, but I do want to add that little pizzazz in there. So I'm going to get a newspaper. We'll use a similar one as before, but this one I will just have the linear style. I'll add a bit more crunch to it. That should be good. Put this onto the side. Bring this out a little lighter to quicken up the process. Now, I know some spray paint artists on the street uses this in a gloss coat, a gloss can, like I used previously to expand this flame. I can't do that because I'm in a garage at the moment, and if I were to do that, the fire or the sprinklers will go off and ruin everything. I do not want to do that, or take any risks for that to happen. So this should be just fine. As small as it is, I'm fairly patient. But I will talk more a little bit about the texturing and the layers. So if you've seen, I had the dark here and the light here. That was on purpose. As to have a gradient like that, it will have a touch of brightness and depth to the lighting. It adds a bit more realism and make you believe that the light is in fact coming from this direction, making this side darker, this side lighter, even if it's on all three sides, or all three layers, or even 4 layers, with the shading, overall shading over here that I'll add later. And you don't have to use, like you've seen from me, a lot of paints for this, for each layer. I just use 3 blues and 4 greens, and I'm going to use like 4 black and whites and grays. I have black, and just normal gray, light gray, and white. That's what I have. I'll probably save the black for the cloud, for just the shading and not the clouds. Just gonna feel around. Yep, feels good. Now it is time for the clouds. I'm not going to have a lot. It's just going to be a little bit, not like you saw on the green, that it covers all of the blue. This is just going to be a little bit. Just like that. I'll also not be using gloss coat for this, because that increases the chance of intermingling or mixing together of those colors below, which I do not want. Okay, now it's time for me to take it off. I'm gonna add a good amount of pressure here. If this doesn't work, I will use, I'll use some gloss paint. Because clearly it wasn't enough. Come on. Come off. Okay. Now I'm going to get a new gloss can, as this one is running thin. Alright, I used the gloss just to cover or make it look a bit more vibrant. Now I'm going to have the dark coat here. I'm just going to shade or heat up this a little bit, as I had a bit more too much gloss over here. There we go. That should be enough. All right. A bit more gloss, and that should be enough to wait. Now I'm going to stop the recording, or rather pause it, until it is done drying, and I will come back to when it is all dry. I'll put the stencil on and get the space all dealt with. See you until then. And now, with the painting dry, I will put the stencil on and make the space around it. And let me just cover it up here. Yep, that is good. Now, as I have prefaced quite a bit on my other paintings, whenever you're using a flat stencil like this, you can just use a bowl, a lid, whatever that suits your fancy. Always use light weights, especially for flat stencils, as if you use too much weight, especially in the wrong area and not enough time to dry, it will stick to the stencil. That is the last thing you want when spray painting ever. You do not want the planet, the main focus of whenever you're using spray painting, especially like this, making planets. You do not want it to stick to whatever stencil, whatever lid you're using. as if it does, it will look like an abomination. Not only that, it is sure to ruin or mess up your stencil, as it will begin to keep sticking to other things. And that's the whole reason why it stuck to the other paints, because it was sticky. And that should be enough. Put this to the side. Now, I will just have black space around it to have good contrast. Nothing crazy. I've had a bit better space for my other tutorial paintings, but for this one I think just having black like this would be good. Of course I have stars, but I want to have a sense of contrast with this planet and around it. As if you look at a normal planet anywhere, there's a lot of dark around it. Rightfully so, it's in space. You know what's in space? A lot of space, not a lot of light. Not like you've seen in like my other paintings or other space paintings. Of course you'd see far off galaxies, nebulas if you're lucky, depending on where you are. Stars, of course. But you're never going to see like a big blue sky. It's just gonna be a huge expanse, black. That's all you're gonna see. And little bits and pieces of the space around you. Of course, all depends where in the universe you are. But if you've ever seen the marble, that video of the moon astronauts on the moon taking a photo of Earth, if you look at the space around it, you know what color it is? Black. That's all there is. And it looks like a marble. That's how small it is. Strange to think about those things. Personally, I never would want to be in space. But that's just me. Now, as I am laying down the stars, I've talked about this a few times, but I'll say it again. I'm having my hand, you see over here? I'll flick it a few times here, just to show you. I have a few pre-sprays on my middle finger, as that's where I strike the strongest. And then I just flick. Now the reason why I don't do it close is because I have globs that show up if I do it close, as you see over here. That's a glob there. A glob, for me, is categorized by an abnormal shape, size, placement, what have you. Something that just doesn't look like nice for a star. So what I do to combat this is have my hand far away, have some pre-flicks, what have you. The pre-flicks is flicking this in an area in which it doesn't affect this, gets a lot of heavy paint off of the finger, and then I spray the light paint on the painting. The reason why I have my hand far away is because the air cuts through to the paint, making the paint little dots much smaller. Then you get something like this. All of these are perfect circles, or as perfect as you can get, except for this one right here, because I had to get close for demonstration and what have you. But yeah, looks pretty good. I'm not gonna have comments here, just gonna have the space as it is, void except for the stars around it. Like tiny little eyes looking at you. Okay. I'm probably gonna have a bit more black here if this doesn't look blended enough. But let's see. Here we go. See? I think that's good. The contrast means a lot, especially in something like this. Now there is a hair in it. Part of the dog's hair. My hair isn't that short. Yeah, it's part of my dog's hair, unfortunately. It kind of sticks to the jacket. But other than that, there's not a lot of blemishes on it. Should have been a bit more shading here. I can't really do it now. But all in all, I think I did this good job. I'm just gonna have a gloss coat here and call it a day. Of course, explaining it a bit more. Now the gloss coat finish not only has, a gloss finish, but also brightens colors around it, making them pop a bit more. And given too much gloss, things will meld together. Seams will start to lose their sharpness. Right, that's a good one. Good little signature right there. And there's it. I think it's pretty good, in my opinion anyway. I would try to get the camera in a way so that I could lift it up a bit better. Give me a second. Alright, let's get like that. Drop it down. A bit closer. Alright. Give me a moment while I bring the painting to the... Now, of course, I could just bring the camera in my hands, but that messes with the audio. Never get it too close. So, this is it. Can't really... You can see the bottom, but not when I have it up close, but that's fine. Yeah. Anyway, I think I did a very good job on this one. And I hope you liked the painting as much as I did. And if you did, I hope you would take some time out of your day to do 3 simple things. Liking the video if you liked it. Comment below in the discussion below what you liked, what you didn't like about the lesson, me talking, the painting, the video itself. And last but not least, especially not least, you can subscribe to the channel if you like what I do. Spray painting videos in this fashion, making lessons, shorts videos, small paintings, big paintings, all of them made explicitly with spray paint. Just this. No acrylic, no oil, no watercolor, just spray paint. That's what I work with, hence the name of the channel. But anyways, I hope that again you have enjoyed today's painting session, and I hope that if you want to look at more of these tutorials, I have them pinned before. And hopefully you can take a look at those if you're more interested. If you want to look at more bigger videos where I don't talk as much, only talk in the beginning and the end with time-lapse and music in between, those are mainly the videos that I make, though I do plan to make a bit more tutorials. If you like some of that, of course, look at other videos like that. I think I have a very, very varied selection of good, bad, ugly, but I think it's mainly good. But of course, that's just coming from me. It's all for you to decide. If you want to take some time in your day, of course, do that. If you don't, that's perfectly fine. But again, for the 3rd time, I hope that all of you have enjoyed today's painting session. And until next time, if you wish to accompany me for whatever painting I may be doing, I hope to see you all there. Bye-bye.